All right. All righty. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks again for coming. This is another session of our Moorish Science University, MSU. This is our university workshop online course for uh, legal writing today we're having. And first I'll rise and give all praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Lord of all the boundless worlds. And, I like to give high honors to his holy and divine prophets from A to Z, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, Ali, Salatu Salam. I like to let you know that our Moorish Science University classes are mostly for our uh, students from first grade to doctorate degree. So our university is truly poised in a sense to serve as a true university, whereas um, students learn about the universe in themselves, man, know thyself. And so here at MSU, we teach grades from first through eighth grade in our Moorish Science Academy MSA portion, and it's all MSU, and then we go up from there. We are experiencing an higher demand for students and for citizens to know how to do legal writing and to compose their very own court cases that they will then be able to file within one of the district courts within their territory. Here in the so-called Philadelphia district, we have the Eastern District Court of Pennsylvania. And first, before I get started, I like to take a reading from the 38th surah or chapter of the Holy Quran of Mecca, entitled Sad, and I'm reading from the Sales version in Sales SALES translation, old translation by one of the old authors here. And this is the English translation in the States. Uh, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most merciful, most beneficent. By the Quran, full of admonition, verily, the unbelievers are addicted to pride and contention. How many generations have we destroyed before them? And they cried for mercy, but it was not a time to escape. They wonder that a warner from amongst themselves hath come unto them. And the believers said, this man is a sorcerer and a liar. Doth he affirm the gods to be but one God? Surely this is a wonderful thing. And the chief men among them departed, saying to one another, go and preserve in the worship of your gods. Verily, this is the thing that which in the work that verily this is the thing which is designed. We have not heard anything like this in the last religion. There is no other than a false contrivance. Hath an emission been sent down unto him, preferably to any other among us? Wow. So that's the reading from Saad, where the Mecca was revealed in Mecca, where the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was blowing the minds of the Meccans, and they thought surely that he was not a prophet. But yes, the warning and reading for the day. High honors to our esteemed students and guests on the line. And this was done in behest of special request by one of our members and constituents in so-called Maine territory, Pequot land out there in Massachusetts, Pequot territory, Brother Yasir Fredan. And so I like to give high honors to him for encouraging us to get back here on our Mayat Day, Justice Day, and Yom Yom Kasayir. So these are what we will do on so-called Thursday. So let us begin. And thank you for your patience. I am the magistrate. You just tuned in. This is our MSU training course workshop for legal writing. If you didn't know, I actually won in federal court myself. And since 2018, when we won and were forced to the other side to settle, rather, uh, it's entered into the law journal under Magistrate Madi Sufi L versus the People's Emergency Center et al. And so what I did was I took a few legal writing courses over the years in paralegal school, yet also I graduated as a magistrate and took my legal writing course at the Pennsylvania Supreme Court building in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania Corporation Commonwealth Territory at their minor judiciary education board and graduated as an arraignment court magistrate in so-called 2023 CE. Also, there are websites that do a lot of the training, and I'm going to place some of them that you can get some of these resources directly on your own, and you will be required to bring your notepads, your notebooks, and everything else with you in order to, take notes. And if you miss a class, or if any colleagues miss a class, tell them don't worry about it because we're going to be basically taping these as we're doing now, so they can go back and watch the replay. All right. So with that, we're gonna begin with the federal lawsuit legal writing course. All right. I mean, and Bismillah Rahman Rahim. The first element that we're going to speak about when we're dealing with federal lawsuits is speaking about the jurisdiction of the federal court, Article 3 courts, and just the mere fact in brief that the federal courts are the only ones in the nation that are even attempting to go by constitutional law. And so we as original people and we as believers and actual um, vicegerents of Almighty God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have a private religious jurisdiction, and we also have our jurisdiction as indigenous peoples. However, the United States Constitution does still work for us because it is the state's contract with the federal confederation. And so they are forced to construe their laws, or at least when they get sued in federal court, that they have to harmonize their laws or throw out their rulings that were not in accord with the United States Constitution. So the challenge is getting your federal court case claim litigation written properly, is to get it actually, let's see, uh, shepherdized, for lack of better words, and shepherdized legal research. All the legal citations must be correct, right? And by legal citations, we mean abbreviations, because there are so many abbreviations. Uh, you must know how to abbreviate when you're citing United States codes, and they'll use anything to as a reason to throw out the case of it not being in a format that is typical that they use in the federal level. So we will go over all of those uh, proper structures of legal writing, with the introduction, the caption, the introduction, the table of laws, and you know, we will also talk about the legal research standards, what law libraries that you can have access to for free, and what law libraries in your city you must pay for. Also, there is, you know, um, online dictionaries like jurisdictionary.com. And that's one word. I'll try to put it in the chat, but it's Juris Dictionary, Juris Dictionary, one word.com. Fabulous website with a lot of free resources, and watch all the tapes because uh, it's it's founded and operated by a retired lawyer for 30 years in Florida. I talked to him quite a bit, and a very good man and humanitarian. So check out jurisdictionary.com and for some of your resources, and we will help you navigate through that site as well. And so, with the use of resources and sites like that and other legal advocates, I was able to put together this federal case. So, um, there are filing requirements, as you well may know. And in today's temperatures, it's about $400, 400 notes, 400 notes straight up and down to file a federal lawsuit. So, what happens is you have the municipal government, which is your local village, township, municipality. And they have county level courts as well. So you have a municipal or village court, and you have what you would call county court. Then the next step up is you would have, you know, Commonwealth court or state court, and then the highest court would be um, well, the Supreme Court of that state first, and then after that, it would be the United States District Court, which is the AKA the federal court. All right. And so what happens is in 2018, when my family and I were litigating against the People's Emergency Center for violating our rights to housing and our deprivation of rights and all kinds of other charges. um it was something to the fact that it is always a challenge to one get that case on the docket, and up front they have been denying a lot of times the informal pauperous forms. We will go over the informal pauperous form or the application when you're coming in the form of a pauper or a poor person, so you don't have to pay the fees. And so, seeing that there's no lawful money, they really not supposed to withhold you from filing at the courts at any rate. But yet and still, if you don't want a 90-day delay on your case, you may be well advised to prepare to have your 400 notes filing fee to expedite your case. It may totally make or break your timing when we begin to build your strategies. I'm going to pause just for one question and give greetings to Brother Yasir, and just to say assalamu alaikum. How you doing there, brother, tonight?
Oh, walaikum assalam. Okay, okay, all right. I'm just soaking in some of the knowledge that you're spreading across the nation.
Yes, yes.
You know,
In the
this is
brief, is there any questions from anybody in the chat? Chief Longbow Reevy says greetings as well. Is there any questions so far?
no questions, not on this end.
Okay. All right, so excellent. So if you're just tuning in, this is our Moore Science University federal lawsuit writing workshop, as inspired and in partnership with our International Interfaith Court. We have Brother Yasir Fardan as a member up in the Massachusetts territory, and we have other members on the line who we may bring in if they so choose. And we have our students on the line as well from Moore Science University, our younger students. Can you go ahead, Brother
No, no,
Yasir?
no. Yeah, I'm trying to figure something out on this, and I apologize.
Oh, okay, no
Uh,
problem. So yeah, we're
technical
just
issue.
letting everybody know that it's a collaborative request from our interfaith court. And so we usually do video affidavits for all our members. And in the middle of doing the video affidavit for Brother Yasir here, we realized, oh my God, Oh, inshallah. Oh, he may need a federal lawsuit, and it happens all the time when you have policy enforcers. You know, the Romans, better known as citizens on patrol, who are not truly officers of the law. They have no oath of office most of the time, because they're not state police, and so they're really citizens on patrol who have no real immunity. And even if they were officers with the oath, your immunity is invalid once you breach your duty extraneously, and also, or you are acting out of color of a law or color of authority. And so that is where and how it came about, the need for us to do these workshops about the federal lawsuit, writing tips, strategies, etc. And so let others know, because we will begin to work on your individual cases. And next time I'll know, because we are encouraging you, brother, and all the other ones listening, to do what? Work on your case and fill in the blank sheets as we talk. Yeah, you should be working on your items, jumping in. If you're not talking about your personal situation, it's fine. You can ask a general question for the students listening. But if you feel free, like many people do, I mean, even myself often, I don't care. I want the violators' names, everything to be known. I want TMZ to be outside their door. So I don't mind telling my story when things happen, just so the person who's advocating can give me an exact or more, dialed in, locked in answer. And so it's up to you all as students. And so that is what we will, how we will conduct the course, giving honors to our principal, Dr. Poetica Bay, who is the principal of Moorish Science University. I'm one of the main professors and the dean, because I keep you on your dean. I'm the dean of the college. And so we will be partnering with Anointed by God Ministries and other ministries. So that way, after a certain amount of time, we will be issuing diplomas for children graduating 8th grade, children graduating 12th grade, adults graduating with their associate's degrees, adults graduating with their so-called bachelors, adults graduating with their master's degrees and doctorate degrees. So we look forward to our more science university, other courses coming coming online. And so high honors to Dr. Poetica Bay, our principal of MSU, and also Noble Seafood Christopher Jackson Bay is going to do the civics course, and we have other notable professors coming online. And so back to the federal lawsuit workshop portion one here. If you're just tuning in, we were speaking about the filing fees. And so we mentioned that the filing fees are supposed to be free, but if you want to expedite your claim and you have time sensitivities, it would implore you to uh, pay the 400 notes, right? We will be giving you homework of finding out what district that you all are near, supposedly, the name and address and location, of the nearest federal district court of where you will be filing, if you get to that level or so choose to. And so that's your first order of business, to find that federal building. And we will be going over the United States Constitution and the court rules, the federal rules of civil procedure, and also the federal criminal rules. And these are things that we need to know, because even though we are not federal defendants, we need to know what we're hurling at those defendants, those agents and actors, because if we're hurling criminal charges, we need to know the criminal code and the ramifications. If we are suing them for monetary damages, we need to know what that is about as well. And just so you know, if we're not mistaken, The threshold is a minimum of 150,000 US notes. And to have a claim at least that high, if you're going to be able to even begin to sue in the federal district in federal court. And so that is what will be going on. I will type it up in the meantime and email it to you all who have registered. So yeah, brother Yasir here has paid for his course, and he's been a member of the Interfaith Court as well. So those of you all that did not make your love offering and tithes and offering and your sadaqah and your what we would call not sadaqah but what is the charity, zakat. Y'all didn't pay y'all zakat or your tithes and offering. Y'all gotta do that so that we can bring you in and send you all the literature and keep you abreast of all the future classes. All right. And so we're bringing everybody in here today so that they can get a taste of it. And those students in the future can continue to come onto the class. All right. So another case in point is that you must begin to write down or type out the affidavit, the storyline of what happened. If you have a hard time typing or if you're just using your cell phone, feel free to open your Gmail account and compose a new message. And you can push the microphone button, talk to text. And Gmail works so good that if your phone dies or if it falls into a suey hole, so to speak, it wouldn't matter. It would be saved as a draft for later. And so uh, we are, having that as your first order of business is for each of you all to write out your affidavit. And there's no pressure with the affidavit because we will help you complete it. So don't have an excuse as to why you didn't start. And you do not have to be a legal expert with the affidavit. So it's not at all something that we want you to try to throw all these legal codes in. We will help you put the codes in there, but just tell the story from the time, dates. And if you need a concept, just think about who, what, where, when, and how. We don't really want to get into the why so much because why is the question most asked by the 85%. That's what the lessons say. And that's because when you ask why in that sense, you're ignoring the fact that the person's intention was already explained in their actions. See, fortunately, on the federal level, in the federal standard, intention is not so needed for you to win or for you to get charged, that is, either for someone to be found guilty. Intention is not so much focused on in the federal court. And that's interesting because I don't know if it's in Islam. They say what the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't know if you heard people say that, but at any rate, in federal court, they will look at, oh, this person did this and they did that. Okay, and then they murdered them. Okay, well, we don't have to spend too much resources wasting 6 months or years trying to figure out why they murdered them. We'll figure that out in the case study. But they're going to be found guilty because they killed them. What was the intention? The intention was the motive. The motive was that they wanted them dead. That's good enough. Bye. See. So when these folks deal with racist and prejudice and profiling tactics of law enforcement or policy enforcement, then they step out of their protection of being qualified immunity employees and they are open for federal claim. And so we must write the affidavit of what they did, but not necessarily try to explain why. because we don't need it. We just got to explain who, what, where, when, and how. Remember, they said 5 questions growing up, but they tricked us somewhere after elementary school, because when we were in the elementary school, they said, they just said who, what, where, when, and why. And then that threw us off for a whole generation, because why, it ain't needed. We saw him steal something. We don't need to know why and waste time. He obviously was hungry or he's greedy. That's it. We can get right to justice. So when you're writing your affidavit, deal with the mentality of who, what, where, when, and how it was done to you or your loved ones. All right. And so that is the jewel as far as that is concerned. If there are any laws that you do know of already, you can throw them in there. Just, don't waste time thinking that by the next time we talk, you don't have 2 paragraphs of your story because you were trying to find laws that, applied, to your claim. Don't do that. We'll find that and help you. If you know some, great. Go ahead and you know, put them into the draft. You see what I'm saying? So, but other than that, nah, just go ahead and finish it. And so that on so-called on Sunday coming up, Yom Mikael, that's his archangel, uh, Salatu Salam. And so on Sunday, we can have our follow-up class workshop with this and keep it going. It'll be workshop number 2. But make sure if you all have a federal claim or think you do, even if you just think you do, if you think it's over $150,000 that they owe you, if you think that it's a federal United States constitutional questioning at hand, go ahead and write that 2-pager up. Who, what, where, when, and how it happened will help you during this process compose it tighten it up into a full affidavit. You know what I mean? Inshallah. And so, with that said, is anybody in your community a notary public, by the way?
Yeah, I believe so in my community. Yeah.
It's important to get a notary public close to you or one that's in your family, and or have someone that you know or love go get their notary license, so to speak. Because the
Yeah.
notary public is the state's witness, and the notary is one of the most powerful pieces on the chessboard in that sense. So we will go into it later, how you corner these and corner these agencies and agents and actors, right? We're going to go into that later, but just know, start looking for a notary that can be tight to the breast, so to speak, and that you can use all the time, and that knows you, and that is willing to accept mail. One that, hey, when I send this certified green slip, because I'm mailing my affidavit to the court. Hey, when they mail, they can mail it back to you, right? And I'll come pick it up. You let me know if they mail it or if they don't mail it. You sign off on it, and they say, yeah, of course, brother, y'all see it, Aki. Then yeah. So now you can use that. That's called notary acknowledgement, y'all. We'll go into it further, but just as an introductory point, the notary acknowledgement will be used in this process because it's important in our federal claims that we exhaust all our remedies, so to speak. And when you exhaust all your remedies prior to filing the federal court claim, it is works much better. You see, can you give me an example of exhausting your remedies that you might think, brother? Yes, here.
Oh, as of when Sergeant McKenzie on April 4th, 2024, was facing me I seen him. We actually could probably look face to face when I was turning, traveling down the highway, and he decided to turn his blue lights on me and pull me over because of a license plate light. Now, mind you, now the weather is awful. I mean, it's snowing, it's raining, it's freezing outside. The roads are so slippery and wet. This is a night where nobody should be out. I was turning around. Actually, I was going back to my home. It was that bad out there. So when he hit the lights on me, I was shocked. I wasn't gonna pull over on the dark highway where I was at in the weather conditions. So yeah, he continued behind me down the road. I couldn't pull over because the first situation running with that West Springfield Police Department, it was awful. So, and I was kind of scared. I was really scared. So I continued to drive down the highway because I knew there was an exit, not even 2 blocks away. And he continued behind me, but I stayed close to the right shoulder because, like I said, the road was slippery and the tires on my vehicle were not good at all. And I proceeded off the exit, and I knew that there was a gas station with the cover under the tanks. So I pulled under there, thinking that it would be covering for him. I'm thinking, you know, get him off the highway. I don't know why I was thinking my safety and theirs. So he proceeded to come up to my window, and he told me, he said, "I'm stopping you because of your license plate light," and he asked me for my license and registration. And I thought that was funny. So I refused because I already had a run in with them, and I knew that he knew me or he should have known of me, but I wasn't expecting all of that. But then his backup came, and when his backup came, the lieutenant, that's when
But
things
hold
really went
on.
bad.
But how was that? Because I was asking you something else, I thought, though.
Did I
What
veer
was the
off?
original question? Yeah. What was the question? You
I thought
got
we
me with
were
that one.
I thought we were on the who, what, where, and when.
No, I said, give me an example of, I said we were filing, right? And you
My
have to
bad.
file. And we're doing an
Hey,
affidavit. And I said the notary presentment and give me an example of what I say, something that you need notary acknowledgement for. What did I ask? Because we were talking about the fact that you need a notary public if you're going to be able to rapid fire respond via affidavit and corner these agencies and exhaust all your remedies. That's
I
what I
caught
said.
that. I
What is an
caught that.
example of exhausting your remedies?
Okay.
Because it's important. Remember, when you go to federal court and you file a claim, the feds is their supervisor, so to speak, to all lower courts.
Oh,
So,
so you're talking about like, okay, so I did want to mention something like, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
yeah.
It was so I felt that because I was speaking to quite a bit of officials, and I was reminding them that they took an oath, and I asked them like, do you know your oath? Do you know what that oath is? And I had wanted to read the oath if anybody didn't know the oath, you know, because I don't think people really pay attention that the word Constitution is in it a couple times, and it's referring mainly to that. So why don't when you carry on about your job or your business, why don't you uphold that? Why is this is money that serious that you would just tear down a community of people or a group of folks? That's
But
crazy. You
that's
got
not
people in.
necessarily exhausting your remedies at all. You're not exhausting your remedies. See, what happens is when you go to federal court for a claim, since it's the big time court and all lower courts are, dealing with, subsidiary and to it, let's say they throw out 98% of the people who file claims, they throw them in the trash. So what happens is it's important and imperative that as a claimant, you exhaust all your remedies, so to speak, prior to filing. So exhausting your remedies in that sense would be saying, look, I I made so many phone calls and I have the phone call screenshot logs of the screenshots of the phone log, right? Um, I text message, I emailed, I have all this proof, right? I sent them an invoice because I said I think they owe me money for my time and energy or whatever it is. I don't know.
Oh, my
I think
bad.
they owe.
Well,
So hold up, hold up,
I'm gonna cut
hold
you off
on, hold
because
on.
I
I'm
was
not.
getting to something
No,
like
no, no.
that,
Let me
but
finish. No, 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 no.
yeah, all right,
Let me finish because
go ahead.
this is the whole thing, and then you can tell me what you think. But just in general, like I said, 98% of all federal cases that get filed in any federal court, district court around the country are thrown in the trash, and they are not even taken because primarily, the claimants have not exhausted their remedies, so to speak. They don't, when they file their legal, litigation and their case, their exhibits and proof attached are not screenshots of their cell phone calls, because that's what they need. They just need screenshots of their call log. They need email printouts of their emails showing that they corresponded with them back and forth, right? They need green slips showing that they certified mailed them correspondence and multiple correspondence, because if you feel like this corporation owes you money or did something, even if it's a government agency, you would have sent them 3 invoices by now, just like everybody else does. When you get electric bill about to get cut off, they send strike 1, strike 2, and then they send a 10, strike 3, and then they give you an extra one, give you a 10-day cutoff notice, right? So everybody does the same thing. So that's exhausting your remedies. That's why they can mess your credit up real quick, because they got proof that they gave you 3, 4 strikes. See? So all crimes are commercial, and even if we're dealing with them on the offense, which we are here, it's still dealing with that commercial endeavor in the mind. You got to exhaust your remedies. You see? So give me another example after, now that you kind of got that, of what you could do possibly to exhaust your remedies before
Well, just
filing.
dealing with like doing the filing. I was that was like something out of a report that I was getting to, that it was an arrival. They all listed on the arrival time and everything, and he's not on there. This lieutenant's not on there.
Okay, but I'm talking
And
about
a lot of
exhausting your remedies. What could you do to exhaust your remedies before you file? Because if you file and then you haven't exhausted any remedies, they're gonna throw it out. So what could you do to exhaust your remedies or proof of that?
yeah, like you said though, like okay, like I'd have to go get phone records, uh, what, text, emails.
Yeah. So
I think the phone
besides the
records
ones
sound like.
I said though, which one? Give me another one that you could think of.
Hmm. Um, I probably do got a couple in this report right here, but I got to dig deeper into that
No, I'm
that that,
saying
that
something that you could do,
concept.
not something that you definitely did. What could you do?
Hmm.
Give me another example of exhausting your remedies. Chief Longbow.
Who's that? Oh,
Chief Longbow, you on there?
Yes, I'm on. Yes.
Peace and blessings, brother. How you
Peace and
doing?
blessings. Peace and blessings.
Assalamu alaikum.
In regards
So
to, no, excuse me. In regards to, well, not personally. Well, for me, um, um, from beginning, from first filing to to currently filing. All documents from beginning to end in regards to exhausting, all in order to get to the federal level. So from start to beginning, um, all paperwork that was documented from start to current.
What you mean by that?
Um, in,
All paperwork that was involved in the dealing or
in
something?
the dealing, yeah, all paperwork.
Give me
Well,
example.
trying
Like
to,
all filings and affidavits.
yeah, all files. Yeah, that's what I meant. All files are
Yeah, but
affidavits.
give me an
Yeah.
example.
Um,
Like in housing, right? For instance, in my federal lawsuit in Magistrate Madi Sufi L versus People's Emergency Center et al. Um, they were religious persecution. They said that they didn't like Muslims and they were a Christian agency and all this. And they didn't take a whole year's worth for my payments. I paid a whole year in advance and they act like I ain't paying no rent. And I paid my rent in the whole year in advance. How about that?
excuse me.
So in that case, exhausting the remedy, you don't want to be vague and say all documents. No, in the housing case, it would be all the receipts that I paid for rent. It
Yeah.
would be all these pictures that I got for repairs I had to make, all the receipts for the plumbers and different people I had to hire because the landlord ain't show up, right? Uh, little mini videos. And now, my Empress, Dr. Poetica Bay, who's the principal of our Moorish Science University here, she did what was called a video affidavit. And so she did a video affidavit, and it was so instrumental that it was it was angelic. So it reduced a whole big fight that we were poised to have with these $1 million attorneys. It reduced it down to a half an hour to an hour court session because they couldn't even stand watching the video affidavit for 5 minutes. Ain't that deep? They couldn't even watch it for 3 minutes, wallahi. They said stop the tape. So when you do your video affidavits, or how the chief Reeve said, collecting all the documents and whatnot, yeah, it's even really, you know, encouraged. We advocate and encourage you to get us to do it or do it yourself. You know what I mean? We'll help you. But we put all the pertinent documents in time order. Look, date stamp or time order, right? And we put them in chronological order and then have them on the slideshow with some, you know what I mean, with some Public Enemy underground underneath it. Not really, but but you know what I mean. And then with some video clips of whatever the video affidavit was, and that's how we do your video affidavit. So high honors to Dr. Poetic Bay, and the Artist Civic Association is the one who produced that, and a group of artists who fight for civil rights as far as record labels, everybody trying to cheat artists or artists supporting direct actions, Black Lives Matter, whatever,
Gratitude.
whatever. So yes, Dr. Bay,
And
thank you for
gratitude. It was a lot of elders. Yes, thank you. It was a
yes,
lot of elders that were a part of that group, and they were wonderful people. An art
yes,
gallery herself, the Dollhouse Museum. Yeah, and it was wonderful. But it's important that not just do those things when you need it or when your back is against the wall, but it's important to continue to gather and work towards redemption even before there's a big issue.
yes. And so in this sense, oh, thank you for that. And so in this sense, exhausting your remedies, um, yeah,
Oh, and say like, I apologize. Say like,
go ahead.
so I can say Ayasir the living man appearing specially and not generally, hereby provide lawful notice to the record my presence at the scheduled court appearances made strictly under protest, threat, and duress in order to avoid bodily harm, arrest, or unlawful detainment. I do not consent to any presumption of jurisdiction nor to any contract, statute, or code that attempts to bind me through compelled performance or corporate assumption. This appearance does not waive any of my rights, nor does it imply consent, submission, or voluntary participation in any commercial or administrative process. I reserve all unalienable rights granted to me, divine law, natural law, and supreme law of the land. I explicitly reserve all rights under UCC 1308 and 1103.
All right. So, but that wouldn't be exhausting your remedy.
That's no remedy?
No, that's just part of what goes in your affidavit.
After you ever did everything.
Right.
That's not exhausting your remedy before you file. Plus, that has nothing to do with anything because that is a defensive statement.
Mm.
We're going in offense because you want to sue somebody, basically. That's what you're saying. You're in offense. You're scoring. You're not saying, I don't know, y'all, I can't talk to me. They're saying, well, you want us to collect this money for you, right? No, don't talk to me. You ain't got jurisdiction. Oh, okay.
I
I
just want a
guess we
better
ain't taking your
understanding of that
case.
too.
Huh?
No. I just want a better understanding of that too, because I use that. But you like
But
you said, now
no, I'm trying to
that
tell
was a
you
defense,
that's
and I'm
It
like,
doesn't
oh
totally
matter.
shit.
inapplicable. It's
Yeah,
totally
Yeah.
that could be
inapplicable
used
to
against
exhausting your remedy.
law. I don't know.
Say it again, Chief.
Yeah, they could use it against. Yeah, they could use it against you.
Well, it's just not applicable. You can't get the concepts mixed up. That's it. It's not that what you said is wrong. It's that
You
if somebody asks you, what do you do to bake a cake, to prepare to bake a cake? And you have all these other answers besides I mix up some dough and put in some vanilla extract, then you're still not really talking about cake prep.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You may be like, well, because you talk all kind of fancy stuff, but that's not correct when we're saying, and reason I have to drill down on is because if you don't get it right, there's no federal case. You have to know that you have to exhaust your remedies. You have to know that you have done all your correspondence and trying to collect that money on your own before you file with them. So that way you have proof that these people didn't answer. I just told you it's just like your electric bill. When your electric bill is sending you a bill, they don't say to you, you ain't got no jurisdiction on that. They don't say none of that. They just say you owe them money and they give you 3 strikes, right? Right, bro?
Yeah,
Yep,
but
Yes,
they
it.
didn't answer to that.
that's
Like you
correct.
said, that was on the defense. They didn't even answer to that.
No, but that
Mm.
has nothing to do with you getting your case filed. So what happens is in your affidavit, if they didn't answer, then yes, that would be one good piece of evidence to show you were exhausting your remedies.
Okay, so we're getting that together. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm trying to figure
okay.
out. Yeah, the
So that,
receipts,
Yes.
as you should
yeah,
say.
So
so that,
if you sent it and they didn't answer yet, yes, then that's one. But now you got to get proof. You got to send them another one. But that's why I said you get the notary public, because once that notary public signs
mm,
on, because what we do is you inside the affidavit at the very end, at the bottom, you state that in order to dispute this affidavit, they must answer it and respond in kind, point by point, right? And they have to answer to the notary public who is witnessing it,
mm,
and they have to mail their response to that person's address.
mm,
Now that's the state's witness. So now the state's witness says 30 days later, 10 days, whatever the time frame is, no, I ain't get nothing. They sign a non-response called non-pros, a non-response certification. So now this notary public says, I ain't getting nothing. Now that's a heavy witness out of this world. So now that's why it's important to put in our affidavits that the respondent must respond to the notary public. We used to kill a lot of cases with that. We used to build a lot of cases with that too.
But the defense statement is still good to put in. That will be the next phase in
No,
regards to
because the defense statement has nothing to do with anything. That's
right,
for state court. That's for state court when when you're defending yourself against them. But
right,
you still send that affidavit as proof. But it's not like you're saying to the federal court the same thing. You're not telling the federal court any of
No,
that.
that's just a it's just a receipt, like you said. It's
yeah,
It's just
just
a
to receive.
receipt
Yeah,
to show that, hey, I've been trying to protect my rights and
right,
immunities on my own, and I'm not handicapped. Not a minority, because a
right,
minority does not mean someone who is of a population that's less than everybody else. That's not what it means.
right.
In the law dictionary, minority means somebody who is of a minor mind, meaning that they are under 18 or mentally under 18.
Mm-hmm.
So either they're physically under 18 or whether they're 45 but still cannot handle their own of contractual affairs. They need an attorney on every little thing that happens to them. They don't know how to deal with any their they don't know how to deal with anything their what do you call it? Civic life and their financial affairs or otherwise, then they're a minor. They're a minor and the group of them are the minority.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The majority are the majors,
Mm-hmm.
who are just people who are over 18 and of voting age, and or are still mentally fit and civically sound enough to sign their own contracts at least. Most Americans that are not even, they're not majors. They're mostly minorities. Even Albions, even Europeans are minorities because they don't be knowing how to do their contracts and do nothing for themselves, pretty much either these days. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, if you're just tuned in, this is More Science University, where first grade through doctorate degree, high honors to holy divine prophets from A to Z, Adam, Salatu Salam, Musa, Salatu Salam, Muhammad Salatu Salam, Jesus, Buddha, Confucius, Ali, etc. Salatu Salam. And so this is what it is, and I'm enjoying it. Any questions so far before I go to the next part?
give me some
I
more
think I
examples
got
of some
that.
receipts.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
Say it again.
Go ahead, brother. I'm
Oh no,
Okay,
I
so
was saying thank you. Yeah, I definitely got it. So I just wanted to make sure that I got the defense statement correct in regards to what that is. So I got it. Thank you. Gratitude. Thank you.
yeah, it's defensive,
Defensive
and
statement.
it's something because we've been used to playing defense because we haven't been used to striking out at people and
Mm,
getting our remedy and making them pay. So we have only really developed for the most part, language that says you can't bother me, leave me alone, whatever it is. But where this part is training us up to be an offense, to get that Michael Jordan, get that Vince Carter, Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba going and come with the offense. And
yeah.
so it's a different language, and it's a different posture, a different mentality,
Right.
and it requires, study and accuracy and unity, because some of us that are a part of the Sharif's department in the interfaith court will be serving these documents on these folks' head. Also, if they're not a part of the Sharif's department officially, they can serve as in the Boondock Saints first responders auxiliary, because when I make these court orders, bros and sisters, mothers and others, you know what I'm saying? Y'all need y'all Boondock Saints to go ahead and hit the ground, because if you go out there to Brother Yasir's case, if you come to the Chief's case, you come to my case, I'm paying you all to appear. Okay, I want y'all to black Twitter it up, storm the, you know what I mean?
yes,
Act
sir.
like
Frivolous
you know
Yeah.
what I'm
conduct
saying?
will
Act
not
like
be entertained.
it's Capitol Hill with the Albions, the MAGA cats. We MAGA, make it Moorish American, godly, Allah, something, make a good acronym for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Master Allah, God Allah. So that's what we
We
talking
all
about.
definitely need to
So
support each
I'm
other
paying
because they don't
Boondock
look for
Saints.
that.
I'm paying you all. Listen, I'm paying that hardcore fiat, baby, from the griot. Inshallah, mashallah. We going deep, and we got people that just want to pay that bread. They know, listen, we need our first responders out there. So when we come to court cases, y'all peaceful protests, y'all videotape, y'all storm them, TMZ them, and World Star Hip Hop them, but we want to do it with tact and diplomacy, and we're going to do it where when we show up, that's their behinds on the line. So get the YNs. We got some YNs in Philly. They getting ready. We're getting Boondock Saints. I'm getting the patches and jackets and the leather. You know what I'm saying? Getting the motorcycle club vibrations going. These mobile missionaries, you know what I'm saying? Because it's up to us to deputize and train up these organizations, these young gang members. You know what I mean? They're the ones sitting there doing nothing for nothing. And but slowly but surely, I mean, if Kevin Gates can take a shahada, I mean, praise Allah. I mean, god dang. So you know what I mean? So we got our frontline soldiers. We just got to put them together, and it's under the 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 guidance of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and his ever providence and his uh, mercy in these days and times. So we are excited about these agendas, and so that's what this is going to pull out. We're going to have our our team for boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying? This is an interfaith outreach. You know what I'm saying? Told you, I'm calling Kyrie Irving to have him call the Hebrew Israelites of purple and gold to show up for Yasir with 3,000 out there like they was at the Barclay.
Man, that'll be something else. I'm telling you, man. That'll be bad.
Did y'all
Oh
see
yeah.
that?
I'm trying to
Did
shut down the
y'all
courthouse.
see?
They
Did
all
y'all
this
see
stuff they been
that?
doing over there.
Hold
Yep.
up, listen. Did y'all see that when Kyrie Irving they did that to him in Brooklyn Corporation, and
I
the
seen it.
Hebrew Israelites came out with 3,000 to 5,000 people for 3 days straight? You didn't see that footage?
I heard a little bit about it. I didn't see the footage though. I heard about it though.
They listen. Nobody could do nothing for 3 days down there by the Barclay in Brooklyn because those Hebrew Israelites was out there. Feel me? So we getting our Boondock Saints first responders revved
Mm-hmm.
up. Inshallah, this is how we doing it. So either they be a part of that New Jerusalem interfaith court up there with you, Chief Longbow, a part of the uh Massachusetts. I can't pronounce how to say the indigenous way of
All this
Massachusetts.
land up in Indian land. You should see the little excuse me. You should see the little monuments they got out here and everything. Tell
Mm-hmm.
you the
I'm
whole
trying to
story.
pronounce it. How do you pronounce it?
Um,
Massachusetts. I forgot how you say the indigenous ways. Is Massachusetts, something to that effect. Up in that interfaith court where you at, brother, we put interfaith courts wherever our missionaries at. You know, we
yep.
went to Atlanta, Florida, different places. And so wherever our interfaith court is, we have a sheriff's department, a sheriff's department. Wherever our sheriff's department is, we want you all to join the Boondock Saints if you ain't going to be an
Right.
official member of the sheriff's, because we're going to put your motorcycle jacket on your first responders, Boondock Saints. So we going to have y'all black Twitter it up out there, y'all. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're going to have y'all show up at all these cases, and I'm going to pay y'all for showing up. Inshallah, mashallah, ikhlas. You know what I'm saying? Show up at these people court cases, turn them up, turn out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's January 6th, but on the peaceful side. Praise Allah. You know what I'm saying? And that's called ambush journalism, but we've done it great. And so like I said, if you just tuned in, this is the Moorish Science University legal writing course for those claimants that are seeking to write and compose and litigate their own federal lawsuit for violations against their rights and immunities that were committed by agents and or actors in the foreign corporate venue. And so, yeah, it's been much appreciative. We got 2 minutes to go. Anything to say before we wrap up? Any last questions? If not, just know that your homework is to come back with a 2-page affidavit. We don't care. It could just be 2 pages of what, who, what, where, when, and how the incident happened to you, and we'll help you put the legal codes in there. Put the legal codes in there if you got them, but don't waste no time on Sunday on Yom Mikael for us to do the class. You better have your 2 pages, and we'll go from there with the legal structure of the federal case, and we'll also add in and keep talking about exhausting the remedies. With that, so I'd like to give high honors to Dr. Poetica Bay, the principal, Moore Science University, our children, the Bay Band, our students, Chaplain Judy Pinckney Ill, Chaplain Amina Ill, all our family advocates. I'd like to give high honors to Chief Longbull Reevy, President of Indigenous Peoples Heritage Society, and all of our family advocates out there in the galaxy. Praise Allah, give high honors. We'll be back on Sunday in the middle of the afternoon. And if you want your federal court case to be put together, get it together. Shalom, shalom. Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi, barakatuhu. Some more to be.
Peace, I say.
Islam.
Peace.